Have you ever questioned high school grading systems? Grading systems and GPA calculators can differ from school to school, especially when you cross state lines. And when I say grading system, I am referring to the percentages that determine what grade you receive, from an A to an F. Your GPA, which stands for grade point average, is the collective percentage of all grades one receives throughout their time in high school. And since you all had to graduate from high school to be accepted to the University of Memphis, you understand the effect a GPA has on one's future. This topic is important to me because I was forced to transfer from North Carolina to Tennessee during my junior year of high school, and my GPA suffered immensely because of differing grade systems in the two states. This is why today I will be challenging your beliefs about grading systems in U.S. high schools and telling you why a common grading system is necessary to ensure all students' GPAs accurately represent their capabilities. Although grade systems are similar in schools throughout the U.S., small differences can significantly impact individual GPAs. According to U.S. News, most high schools use a standard 4.0 GPA scale, but some have a 5.0 or even a 12.0 scale. These scales can change even more when you factor in different ways schools weigh honors and advanced placement courses. As of now, many schools grade their students differently, and how is that fair when a GPA is a major factor colleges look at when deciding to accept or deny a student, or even to determine what scholarships they should receive? According to collegeraptor.com, a student's GPA plays a large role in determining what scholarships they're eligible for. These small differences have major impacts on students who have to adapt to new grading systems during their time in high school. When a student has to transfer schools, their GPA is subject to change based on the new school's grading system. These changes can either help or hurt a student, even though their GPA should remain the same. For example, when I moved from a school that had a 10-point grade scale to a 7-point grade scale, every 92 I had received previously was changed from an A to a B. These changes are unfair to students because letter grades are received based on a singular school's grade scale, so when another school determines letter grades, it's not fair to the students who are forced to undergo grade changes years after completing a class. If a teacher using a 10-point grade scale feels a student deserves an A, they would see it fit to give a 90 to a 92, but a teacher using a 7-point grade scale would give a higher percentage to compensate for the difference. According to Slate.com, 80% of students base their self-worth off of academic performance. This means that grades need to accurately represent a student's abilities. This is why we need a more reliable and common grading system. A standard grading system across the U.S. would help all students to be represented fairly, because all GPAs would be calculated in the same way. A common grading system could be based on a 4.0 GPA scale, a 10-point grading scale, and still use the A through F categories. When forced to move with their families, students would not have to stress over last-minute grading changes, and no one would have to be punished for simply transferring schools. GPAs would be more fairly judged when applying to colleges because they would all be determined using the same scale, and children who have to move would not be discouraged by differences in grading policies. Therefore, a standard grading system would benefit all high schoolers in the United States. Some may argue that differing curriculums and difficulty levels call for different grading systems across the U.S. To that, I would say a common grading system would not impact the difficulty of assignments or how a student is to be assessed. This would still be up to individual teachers and schools. A common grading system would simply ensure all students are represented fairly by using the same grade scale. More than anything, a common grading system would protect kids that are subject to frequent school transfers, especially military children who tend to become discouraged after dealing with grading issues. I hope this information has changed your views on how a GPA is calculated and the power it can hold. Hopefully now you see how harmful differing grade scales across the U.S. can be and why a common grading system would help to better represent all students. Something that is used to gauge the abilities of every student in the U.S. should apply fairly to every student in the U.S. Thank you.